Coming up, we'll dive into the mailbag here on this Friday. We'll preview high school and college football. It's all coming up on Southern Sports Now. It is Friday, September the 22nd, 2023. I'm Chase Robinson, your host. Glad you're joining us here on Southern Sports Now as we dive into all things high school, college football. We even get into a little baseball talk as well. I got the Braves shirt on today as I'm fired up for some Braves baseball as we're getting closer to the postseason. We'll see what the Braves can put together, but we got a Braves question in the mailbag we'll get to in just a little bit. But we got a lot to cover as far as Jacksonville State, Alabama, Auburn, and of course we'll get into the mailbag as other SEC games going on, high school games going on. But the first thing we want to pass along to you, very unfortunate news to pass along to you. The White Plains at Anniston game tonight has been canceled. They are hoping to be able to play this game later on in the season, but they will not play it tonight as some issues going on earlier in the week involving some Anniston students. They canceled the homecoming parade last night, and they have decided to forego the game tonight. So there will be no White Plains at Anniston tonight. It was a homecoming at Anniston. You really hate to see this have to happen, but of course the safety for all of the students and athletes and fans are. That is first and foremost. We got to protect those players and coaches and everyone there, and so they've decided to postpone to cancel the game tonight and play it hopefully later on in the season. But you hate that these players aren't going to get to play a football game tonight because of some other students. Of what took place involving a shooting incident on Tuesday night. But very unfortunate circumstances there for the White Plains Anniston game happening tonight. But let's take a look at games happening across the area involving East Alabama teams. There you see Alexandria on the road at Springville. Of course, the White Plains Anniston game not happening tonight. Cleburne County plays host to Munford tonight in a region game. You got Donahoe at Victory Christian. Glencoe plays host to Plainview. We've got Hoax Bluff hosting Westbrook Christian tonight. Jacksonville is at Talladega. You've got Lincoln at Moody. Piedmont hosts Ohatchee. That's been a fun one as of late. We'll see what the Indians can do there on the Field of Champions. You've got to Oxford making the trip over to Pinson Valley tonight. Cleveland is at Pleasant Valley. You've got Ranburne at Woodland. Weaver is on the road at Randolph County. You got Sachs on the road at Childersburg. Southside is at St. Clair County. You've got Spring Garden at Winterboro. And Welborn making the trip down to Dadeville tonight. So those are the high school football games happening tonight involving East Alabama teams. And should be some good ones out there. And we're in the kind of the thick of region play now. You're starting to find out about some of these teams and where and how things may stack up in region play. So it should be fun to follow tonight and moving forward in region play. Next week, we'll actually take a break from region play and have some non-region games and some rivalries, but region play in full force now across the state of Alabama, but some really good games happening here in East Alabama. Coming up next, we will dive into that mailbag, get some good questions to pass along. We'll do that on the other side. Stick around. More Southern Sports Now in a moment.
Here at Ted's, we are excited to now be offering custom-made cabinets. With that in mind, we're changing our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond is going to encompass everything that we offer in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
East Alabama Now Local News has been bringing you the best local news coverage for 6 months. And now we're growing.
EAN News will be available to you 5 nights a week with new faces, new content, and coverage that is second to none.
We'll be bringing you the weather that matters to your neighborhood and to you. Rain or shine, you'll be in the know.
Sports always brings communities together, and EAN Sports will have coverage of all of our area events.
East Alabama Now, local news, new faces, same great coverage. Starting 5 days a week, May 1st. EAN Local News, your news on your schedule.
Back here on Southern Sports Now, here on this Friday, Football Friday. We've got a lot of great high school games tonight. Lots of great college games tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be a fun day with all the football we have coming up. Or a fun couple of days with tonight and tomorrow and NFL Sunday, if you're into that. But really fun college football games tomorrow. But as we do here on Fridays, we dive into the Southern Sports Now mailbag. So we're going to do that now as you can submit your sports questions all throughout the week. And I answer those on Fridays. But first question up, it's a good one. Is Notre Dame actually a threat to beat Ohio State? So this matchup, huge matchup tomorrow with Notre Dame and Ohio State. It depending on who you ask, they'll give you a different prediction. They've got this as Ohio State, I believe, a 3-point favorite in this one. Yeah, as we sit here right now, Ohio State a 3-point favorite in this game with Notre Dame. I really think the way Notre Dame has played the last couple of weeks, I think they can beat Ohio State. Ohio State is one of those teams that plays a really good front half of their schedule and struggles towards the end. And I think that could happen again this year. I'll have my pick on this game in just a little while, but I like the way Notre Dame is playing right now. They're number 9, Ohio State number 6. Sam Hartman, I think, is the perfect quarterback for Notre Dame. I really like him. He's a fantastic player. I really think that that Notre Dame can compete in this game, can get it done. Again, I'll have my prediction a little bit later on, but I think Notre Dame is a threat. I think you can put them in that category, a threat to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is going to be a really fun game tomorrow, and that game is in South Bend, Indiana. They're on the campus of Notre Dame. That will be a 6:30 kickoff on NBC if you would like to watch that one. But I appreciate the question in there, and I would say yes, they are a threat to beat Ohio State. Second question, Florida, to give some context here, Florida did beat Tennessee last week, if you missed that. Is Florida for real, or is Tennessee not that good? Interesting question. It's an interesting way to phrase that question as well. I'm not going to say – I think we need to see way more from Florida. That was a home game there in the Swamp. They've had a really good time with Tennessee down in Gainesville as of late. So that really didn't surprise me that they won the game just because they were at home. They had that home atmosphere. Tennessee is not as good as they were a year ago. I think we can all say that. We can all agree on that. They're not the same, especially offensively, as they were a year ago. They're still good. Joe Milton's a good quarterback. They've got some really talented guys, but I'm going to say they're not as good as what we saw a year ago there at Knoxville. Now, Florida, I think, is on the up and up. I think they're getting better. Last year they had that big win to start the season, and they struggled the rest of the way. This year they did not look good against Utah to start the season, but I think they're on an upward trajectory. I really do. I'm not going to say they're for real and they're going to win the SEC East or whatever, but I will say they're on the up and up. They're getting better. Billy Napier, he's recruiting well. You see good moments, you see bad moments on the field for Florida, and I think they've got to get more consistent across the board. But Florida is getting better. Tennessee's not as good. So to answer the question, Florida is better, but Tennessee's not as good. That'll be the answer to my answer to that question. But I think we're seeing bright moments from Florida, and in Tennessee is not the 2022 Vols that we saw a year ago. So hope that answered the question. Appreciate you sending that one in. Third question, a little baseball question here. Will pitching keep the Braves from winning the World Series? Interesting question here, and I think that the pitching has struggled this week. It has, especially in that series with the Marlins, so the Braves were swept. Did all right against the Phillies. Good win against the Nationals last night. Jackson Stevens came in and closed it out for the Braves last night, which was good to see. But yeah, the bullpen has got to be more consistent, I think. And if you missed the news today, Max Fried has been placed on the 15-day DL. Or the IL, for an injury, and he should be back by the NLDS, which is good news if he stays just on the 15-day trajectory there. But you do hate to see him go out after pitching so great. He had the time he was out at the beginning of the summer. He's back, and he's been good for the Braves, but hopefully we'll get him back in the postseason and be able to get on a little run there. But I think the bullpen does need to be more consistent in order for the Braves to make a deep run and possibly go to the World Series. So I'm not going to say it's going to hold them back, but they've got to be more consistent. And and so do the bats. I mean, and we've seen games where the Braves have hit so good, and I think every game several guys hit well, but not the whole lineup. But on the pitching side of things, there's got to be some consistency for sure. You're going to be playing the best of the best when you get into the postseason, and the Braves are looking to get back to the World Championship. And so the pitching definitely has to be on point for that. But, appreciate the questions here on the Southern Sports Now mailbag. I think pitching needs to definitely be more consistent there for the postseason. Hopefully we'll be I've got my 2021 World Series shirt on here. Hopefully we'll have a 23 one if the Braves continue to play like they have been and really all season long of getting it done there on the baseball field. But appreciate those questions in the Southern Sports Now mailbag. We can do this every Friday. You can send your questions all week long, and we'll get to those on Friday. You can send them by email, eansports23@gmail.com. You can send them on Facebook Messenger on the East Alabama Now Facebook page. Comment on the video, and we'll see them there as well. So get those into us. We answer those every Friday. Coming up next, we will preview some college football. We'll talk Jack State. We'll talk Auburn and Alabama next year on Southern Sports Now.
Here at Ted's, we are excited to now be offering custom-made cabinets. With that in mind, we're changing our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond is going to encompass everything that we offer in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
EAN Sports is proud to bring you the best, most informative local sports content, and we want your help to be able to do that. If you have a story idea, a tip for our sportscast, or even a highlight clip you want to see on EAN Local Sports, send us an email, eansports23@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @EAN_sports, or you can send it to the EAN News Facebook page. EAN Sports, bringing you the local sports happening in your community.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
If you see some interesting weather phenomenon in your backyard here in East Alabama, send that to us. We would love to hear from you. Send that to us at the email address you see on your screen or through Facebook at EAN News.
Southern Sports Now continues here on this Football Friday. We've got a huge slate of region games in high school tonight, and some really good college football games coming up tomorrow. SEC play getting going for a lot of teams, including Alabama and Auburn. We'll talk about those in just a second. Jacksonville State hits the field tomorrow in a non-conference game as the Eastern Michigan Eagles will be coming into JSU Stadium, Burgess Snowfield, for homecoming tomorrow night there at Jacksonville State. 4 o'clock kickoff on ESPN+. That is where you can check out Eastern Michigan at Jack State tomorrow. Jacksonville State, of course, coming off the bye week. They had last week off after the loss to Coastal Carolina. So we're going to have a chance to see how Jacksonville State responds after a good first half against Coastal and a not good second half. And so they've had 2 weeks to kind of make some corrections and work on some things. So we'll see how they respond and react to that. But you certainly have to think that Jacksonville State's going to be ready to get after them tomorrow as Eastern Michigan comes in. But, of course, we don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be. As Rich Rod alluded to earlier in the week in this press conference, he's got 2 starting quarterbacks, and it'll depend on who performs well at practice and who he thinks can move the ball down the field well for his team. And so should be interesting to see who he goes with tomorrow. And I'm sure it'll be an instance where we won't know who the starter is until they come trotting out of the field tomorrow. So, but Eastern Michigan at Jacksonville State. Rich Rod spoke earlier in the week on Eastern Michigan, what he has seen, what challenges they bring to this game tomorrow.
Physical team. I kind of like thought coming into it that they're, you looked at it and played Minnesota, and it was toe-to-toe with Minnesota, who's huge and, a Big Ten team. They got big physical offensive linemen. They got a big running back they're going to pound the ball in there 4 or 5 yards. Then they'll put another running back in there who's really shifty and really good, and that's what they're going to do to control the game. Get some play-action passes and run the football and see if we can get off a block and make a tackle. And then defensively, same thing. They're huge up front. Got really big linebackers that tackle well. I mean, they're just a typical big physical MAC team that's, that they know who they are. That's what they do, and they do a good job of it. Their coach is, like I said, what Coach Creighton done there is amazing. I mean, they went years and years without even having a winning record. And now they're one of the best teams in the MAC each year. So, and they have a kind of a system, a style that they adhere to, what they go to, and it works for them.
We talk a lot about Jacksonville State's defense. They've been a turnover-forcing machine. They're playing a defense who's very similar to that tomorrow, Eastern Michigan. They forced 4 turnovers alone in last week's game against UMass, 25th in the nation at passings intercepted. And so it's going to be tough for the Jacksonville State offense. Rich Rod spoke to that. I asked him about that. This is his answer to how they kind of prepare for that.
First off, starts with making good decisions offensively. You don't want to throw the ball. I mean, they got guys that they got a lot, kind of like big rangy safeties that got good ball skills. So you don't want to give them gifts with just throwing the ball up there, because they'll pick it off. And that's what they did in the last game. A couple throws that were just thrown up there, and they went and got them. And that's what they thrive on. Like I said, ball control, going to get you turned over on offense. So we've been good with that for the most part. I think we've got one, turnover or something. But that's going to be key for us. And you don't want to play so conservative that you don't take a chance or two. But at the same time, you can't give them extra possessions, because they will. They'll shorten the game and have long drives and limit your possessions.
Jacksonville State getting ready to hit the field against Eastern Michigan coming up tomorrow. Another big game is in Tuscaloosa as the Ole Miss Rebels come into Bryant-Denny Stadium to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's a 2:30 CBS game. Now, for all of you CBS college football fans like myself, Gary Danielson and Brad Nesser will not be on the call of this game because of CBS and in the Big Ten. Doing some Big Ten games this year, getting ready for their full slate next year. They've got Brad and Gary on the Iowa, Indiana or something tomorrow night. And so they will not be on the Alabama-Ole Miss game tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. But CBS will have it at 2:30. When you look at this matchup, it's a game, it's very winnable for Alabama. But it's also, I think, very winnable for Ole Miss. If Ole Miss comes out clicking offensively and does a lot of the same things maybe Texas did offensively and defensively, then I think Ole Miss can win this game. The Alabama defense is going to have to put some pressure on Jackson Dart. I think that's going to be huge in this game. He's an outstanding quarterback. You got Quinshon Judkins at running back, who is really good. But the Alabama defense has got to come ready to play, and they've got to put some pressure on the quarterback. They've got to make good tackles in space. I think that's going to be huge, huge, huge in this game tomorrow for Alabama. Quinn Ewers didn't get touched all night when Texas came to Alabama, and that showed. He was able to get passes off, clean handoff to the running back who was able to get room. But the defense has got to put some pressure on the backfield for Alabama. That's going to be crucial. They've got to eliminate the big plays as well. And Jalen Milroe, as far as he goes starting at quarterback tomorrow for Alabama, he's got to be able to shake off any of the mistakes that he made. I thought that was one of his faults in the Texas game was threw a pick and really didn't come back from it. He's got to be able to shake that off and go out and play. He does seem to turn the ball over. That's an issue that he has, but Coach Saban trusts him, and we'll see what he can do tomorrow as he'll get the start against the Ole Miss Rebels. But that Alabama-Ole Miss game, 2:30 on CBS. Auburn making the road trip out to a College Station as Auburn is at Texas A&M. That's 11 a.m. ESPN game, and let's be honest, Texas A&M is not great this year. I think this is going to be a winnable game for Auburn if they can limit the turnovers. I think that's a big thing for Auburn right now for both quarterbacks is limiting the turnovers. You don't want to put the ball in Texas A&M's hands. And if they do that and give the Aggies good field position, Connor Wegman is not the best quarterback in the SEC by any means, but he can make things happen when given the opportunity. So I think Auburn really needs to limit those turnovers in the game and just play good, clean football. If you're Auburn, I think this is a very winnable game. If you get the SEC slate started on the right foot, if you're Auburn getting a win, I think that'll be huge for the rest of the year in Hugh Freeze's first season there on the Plains. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out on that one as far as Auburn, Texas A&M to see how the Auburn Tigers react. Another road game and see if they can get some more offense generated. I don't think defense is an issue right now for Auburn. Offense is, and they can make those corrections coming up tomorrow. So that should be a fun one to watch as Auburn takes on Texas A&M. What a great slate of college football. And that's just a few. And coming up next, I'll have my picks for 6 games across college football. We'll do that next here on Southern Sports Now.
Here at Ted's, we are excited to now be offering custom-made cabinets. With that in mind, we're changing our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond is going to encompass everything that we offer in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into an expensive ER or hospital visit for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
We're back here on Southern Sports now as we roll on this Football Friday, as it's time for me to pick some games. And I got some, not just SEC, I branched out all across college football. I've got our pick six here, so 6 games that I'm going to pick here. And we will start with Florida State versus Clemson. Big ACC matchup here. And the line has actually gone down in this one, and where they got it pretty close, honestly, as Florida State just a 2-point favorite on the road at Clemson. Florida State number 4. They struggled with Boston College last week. They go on the road to Clemson this week, but I can't help it. I've got to go with the Florida State Seminoles in this one. Again, this is not it's a tough place to play there in Clemson, but I do think Florida State's the better team. I do think they go on the road and get the win. I think by more than 2, honestly, even though the line there at 2. They got a lot of faith in the Clemson Tigers. But I've got Florida State winning this one on Saturday. Next up, Colorado and Oregon. A lot of folks keeping their eye on this one. It's interesting. Oregon, actually, they are favored by 21 in this one. Colorado has been kind of the team everybody's talking about. Both teams 3-0. Oregon number 10, Colorado number 19 in the country. But I don't think Colorado will come close to Oregon. I've got the Oregon Ducks with a big win over with Colorado tomorrow. It's at Oregon. Bo Nix is playing his best football right now, and I think he has no problem taking down Colorado tomorrow in Eugene. So I've got Oregon beating Colorado. Next up, we got Notre Dame hosting Ohio State. We talked about this one earlier. I've got, again, Ohio State, one of the top teams, each and every year. 6 right now, Notre Dame 9. I think Notre Dame at home gets the win over Ohio State. I think it's going to be a really fun game. I've been looking forward to this one, and I think Notre Dame gets the win. Moving back into some SEC play here, you got Arkansas at LSU. LSU, I picked against LSU last week. I picked Mississippi State to beat LSU. I was way off. Jaden Daniels is playing out of his mind right now, and so I have got the LSU Tigers beating Arkansas tomorrow in a pretty good SEC matchup there in Baton Rouge. Ole Miss at Alabama. I mentioned this one earlier. Either team could win this game, I think. It wouldn't surprise me if Ole Miss won. Wouldn't surprise me if Alabama won. But the way Alabama's played, they're going to have Jalen Milroe back on the field. I think they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, ready to play this game. People have been hating on them, doubting them all week after the performance against South Florida, which really was horrendous. But I think Alabama is going to come ready to play. I've got the Tide beating Ole Miss tomorrow in Bryant-Denny Stadium. That also helps it being a home game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Next up in our final Pick 6 game, Auburn, Texas A&M in College Station. I've got Auburn going on the road and getting a win over the Texas A&M Aggies. Again, I think the way Auburn's been playing, especially defensively, if they don't put the ball in Connor Wegman's hands in Texas A&M offense, I think Auburn will have no problems tomorrow. Even though that is a tough place to play in College Station, I've got the Auburn Tigers winning. So those are my Pick 6 games for this week. Let's take a look at the SEC schedule for tomorrow. You've got that Auburn Texas A&M game at 11 a.m. Also, Kentucky taking on Vandy tomorrow. That also is an 11 a.m. kickoff. Ole Miss at Alabama, 2:30 on CBS. You've got Tennessee out of SEC play as UTSA comes in for a 3 o'clock kickoff. You've got Arkansas LSU. That's a 6 p.m. ESPN game. Florida hosting Charlotte on the SEC Network Plus. Got UAB making the trip over to Athens to take on the Georgia Bulldogs, 6:30 on ESPN2. And you've got Memphis and Missouri at 6:30 on ESPNU. And then South Carolina hosting Mississippi State, 6:30 tomorrow night on the SEC Network. So fun stuff there. Great games happening across the country and across the SEC. But, of course, a great night of high school football coming up tonight as well. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of the show. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy all this great football. We'll break it down for you Monday on another edition of Southern Sports Now. Have a great weekend.